today we're going to relocate the shifter. This was something I wasn't sure I could do. I knew I could bring the shifter up, you know, maybe 4 or 5 inches, but turns out I can relocate it all the way to here. So it's called a front mount shifter kit. It costs a pretty penny, but it's a work of engineering art. So it's made by a company called what was that called? Auto Sports Engineering. And I found it through another YouTube video. Guy was sticking this in his you know, like 80s Camaro, and yeah, this really relocates it back nicely. So I got to pull this off. I'm gonna pull this off, and then I got to pull all these bolts around the perimeter and pull this whole tail housing off. And it's pretty simple. I pretty much install a receiver for the ball end of this shifter to go into that goes on the original shaft. We cut the shaft in half, turn it around and flip it, stick this in the middle. It's going to be rather simple, so I'm looking forward to that. I'm going to get my impact gun and a couple of wrenches, and I'll pop this off and we'll cut back when I'm closer. Might as well remove this whole tail housing. As I understand it, this is one of the differences between the early and the late CD transmissions, is this thing's like rubber mounted on the later ones. I have an early one. Not much to this. Yep, there are. There's one. And there's the other. So I've got to punch out this drift pin. It's a double drift pin. So I'm going to start with my really small punch. Don't need this rubber gasket anymore. Sorry to anybody that wants it. Garbage. Oh, grief. Well, we'll have it extended like that. Is this small enough to get through here? Where does it come out at? Oh, it comes out way over here, so yeah, it is. Let's see if I can do this without losing the piece. There we go. I caught it. So I'm going to put that in the box along with the tiny drift. I checked the sizes of the, because we're going to reuse this drift pin, and this 1/4 inch does fit. I actually started grinding it on my grinder because I thought 1/4 inch was too big, but it just had a layer of rust that was preventing anything from going. Uh-oh. Come on. Oh, good. There it went. Mid-size one and punch this drift back out. Stupid things. There we go. Anyways, maybe it was a good thing that I ground that down a little bit. So, don't need this part at all anymore. Now, I'm going to take this cover off first, and then I think we're going to drive that drift pin out. Alright, and I appeared to have a paper gasket here rather than, oh, I guess that is metal. I saw this piece sticking out, I thought it was paper. Torn paper at that, but nope. Okay. Well, it's got enough miles to have some crud in here. But I see no metal flakes, so that's a good thing. Now, there's apparently a ball in here that I need to keep track of. So here's a spring and a ball. So now this, so we got this this nice little thing here, and I'm going to pull out the factory one and we're going to replace it. There we we go. So this is like a gear indentation so you can feel when you're going between gears. Put that in there. I need to stand this up just a bit. Anyways, now, I think I set the hammer on it right. There we go. Even my tiny little hammer did it. Apparently it's RTV'd together, so I'll have to redo the RTV there. And there we go. I got the shifter out. So, okay, that was a big washer. And that just fell out of there. Oh, that wasn't there. Oh, it went here. Okay. Yep. I never saw a ball fall out, but anyways, so up there. Oh yes, it's D-shaped, so can only go in one place. So there's that. Set that there and hope nothing else falls out of it. Internals of transmissions scare me. Alright. Another roll pin to pull out. This metal chunker. So it's got an internal roll pin just like the last one. So there we go. That's out. Put that in my cardboard box. Then we move up to the bigger size. There we go. And my other punch to get this back out. There we go. Now this can come off. There we go. And according to the video, I want to cut this just... Okay, let me rotate this so we can even see what I'm talking about. Alright, so we got these two indents and the drift pin hole. I want to cut it off just above that. So I gotta protect the whole transmission while I do this. Alright, I'm getting ready to cut that shaft on the transmission. You know what, let's scoot this up a little bit. There you go, now you can see what I'm about to do. I put some paper towels to catch metal shavings, and now I'm doing some vinyl. This is I don't know, probably 8 mil, maybe 10 mil vinyl. It's like the use for vehicle wrap. Don't ask me where I got it, I can't tell you. But yeah. I knew I'd do that wrong. Oh well. So, you know what? Maybe if I rotate this. Yeah. Rotate it like that. Yeah. Maybe I didn't do it so wrong. So, there we go. I'm just going to use the grinder to cut it off right there. This will keep all the metal shavings out of the transmission. I've got nothing on the floor that can collect metal shavings that's going to go back onto the transmission. So, let's do this. I got it close to that round hole. So close that you can kind of see it on one side. That's less than ideal. Oh well. Yep, good job. All right, so this will come back through that way. Oh, actually, yeah, this is going to be at the top of the transmission, so I want that side up. Alright, so maybe I cut it a little bit lower than I needed to, but it'll work. Which way was I supposed to do this? Deep side or shallow? I might have this backwards. Let me watch that video again. Yeah, it was a good thing I double checked. I got it on backwards. Alright, now I got it right. I'll put it in right side up. There we go. Well, that was annoying. Totally my fault. Should have cut the excess off of this. I guess I don't really need that anymore. There we go. Yeah, now it fits in there great. I didn't trim it quite as too short as I did the other one. Kind of sloppy, but whatever. I think this is just for alignment at this point. That one's good and tight. This one not so much. Anyways, now I can clean up this surface, RTV it, and put the whole thing back together. Alright. Alright, here we go for reassembly. Got that washer that fell off back on its spot. And I guess that's it. I've got the RTV on the sealing surface there, so. And that's exactly what this was sealed with before, was that particular RTV. I wonder if I need to back these out at all to get them to clear. There we go. Now those can go in. I suspect. Yep. Okay, now it's down. Yeah, it's really cold out, so I don't even know if RTV, room temperature vulcanizing, is going to work at this temperature. Anyways, it also said that I can cut this excess off. So there we go. Yeah, so I can cut that off there, no problem. That'll give me something to do. All right. Earplugs again. So there's that. That's the whole install process. Well, that still got to do the install the shift. Actually, given how much corrosion is on all of these, I'm really thinking anti-seize. Steel bolts into aluminum. Yeah, they're just gonna gall. There we go. Won't take much. Okay, hopefully these don't hydrolock in their holes. Not trying to put too much on there. But they are, well, some of them are bottomless holes, some of them aren't. That's probably the difference between the ones that are corroded and the ones that aren't. It's probably the difference between the ones that would come out with my impact gun and the ones that wouldn't impact, or the corrosion. I'll thank myself in 20 years when I have to go back and pull these out. I'm almost 70 years old and they're not rusty and they're not snapping off in the transmission. Future me, you're welcome. That got a little bit tighter. Cool. So, she's good and snug now. And we can lay her back down, I guess. Clutch lines. Okay. I don't know how I'm going to lift this thing into the car. It's too heavy. Alright. I need a couple more screws. These two look familiar. Now, yeah, so I got it transferred to the bracket that came with the kit. This little, it's just a spring-loaded indentation so you can feel between the gears better, I guess, or something. But, yeah, coming out of the old bracket would have been nice if I had a bench vise, because, boy, that sucker was red Loctited in there. Maybe I should have applied some heat to it, but I eventually got it. So, I guess there's that. Gosh. Okay, now I need a 10 for this, and I don't know where I put my 10 pin. Oh, yeah, I do. Put it down there in my kit. All right. All right. Don't need that crazy tight. Or I could have left it bolted into the car and broken this. Or transmission, that is. Yeah, that would have been a lot better. Alright. So now, it's just a matter of slapping this back together. I'm not gonna RTV this right now because I'm going to be pulling it back apart in the not too distant future, because I'm not going to lift it into the car with this shifter sticking up. But I'm going to put it in there so we can feel it. So make sure we put the spring back. Make sure you didn't lose the ball. I can see it down there. It never wanted to come out, so it's fine by me. This thick spot goes over the spring. And he said this only goes on one way, so... There we go. Springs in, shifters in its notch. Yeah, these are way too short now. Jeez. Okay, so kit does not come with longer versions of these. You're going to need longer versions of these. So I have to pick some up at the hardware store here soon. Luckily, I've got one spare, so I can take one with me to know that I need at least 10 millimeters more than that. Yeah, if I had any RTV in there, I'd probably be sticking up too much for that. Anyways, less complaining, more working. Let's put the shifter on here. Every video I see of somebody doing this kit, they sit here with the transmission flopping back and forth on the floor, trying to get it shifting between all the gears. You know, this won't be any different. I'm going to do the same thing. Let me grab some Allen keys. I'm just going to go ahead and make this thing full length. It's got these little indentations. I'm trying to get them into the indentations. Hopefully I got this on camera. I know I screwed up in the first half. It's a problem with not having a cameraman. Alright. And then like they say in the video, or you know, the other videos, you can have this forward if you need it even farther forward, or you can have it back if it's just a little bit too far forward. Doesn't matter. I'm going to just assume that I want it all that way. Then a lock nut. And then any old shift knob, I guess. I guess it's the standard threads for a Nissan 350Z. First, second. My very first time shifting this thing at all. It's 1 inch. Alright, so. Okay. So I just default into first and second, and I go over a little bit for third and fourth, and then even farther over for fifth and sixth. I don't know. Doesn't help that this thing's not hardly bolted down, so it's wiggling. Feels like I should have some
don't know. I feel like I've only got forward and backward. I don't have any side to side. I'll be able to double check that when I've got it in the car. I don't really need this bolted on until then. I'm going to leave it on there for now to keep the dust out. But this is going in next. Now that I finally got the stinking shifter, it's going into the car. Well, I want to wrap this project up so I've at least got something to publish this weekend. I got the shifter in. It turns out the retaining rods that I had to pull out to get the thing in, while they're out, you gotta shave a 1/4 inch off each of them to get it to be able to go side to side properly. And even then, this is probably gonna need some adjustment still. But here's first, second, third, fourth, fifth, and sixth, and then the reverse lockout isn't working properly. That's reverse over there. So yeah, it defaults third and fourth. You gotta go over for first and second, and fifth and sixth are, because the reverse lockout isn't working, it's halfway over. Third, fourth, fifth and sixth, yeah, something like that. I don't know. It'll be easier to shift when this thing's not rocking around on the floor, I'm sure. I went to O'Reilly's and just bought something decent for a shift knob. It says it's real leather, so that's cool. This is the kind of shift knob I like. It may not be like style-wise correct for this car, and I kind of want an 8-ball, but this will do for now. They wanted more money for the 8-ball than the leather shifter, so I got the leather shifter. The original bolts that were in, my metal plate were pretty darn short, so I got ones that were like 5 millimeters longer. It's like the next length up, and that seemed to be just right. These were just enough to get them started, so I only needed 5 more millimeters of engagement. That's what I felt. I might have been able to get away with more, because it seems like most of these holes go all the way through, but some of them don't, so I don't know where they're going to, and I didn't want to risk that. I haven't glued this on yet. I'm not sure if I'm just going to unscrew it here and stick it up in the car, or if I want to pull this whole plate off and maybe even bolt this back on top of the transmission to keep dust out of it while I install it in the car. But that's where we're at right now. And yeah, this is a good shifter. It doesn't come with instructions. The guy's got a video on there. One of his videos is 7 years old. He's got 2 follow-up videos you have to hunt down that are 2 years old that explain what's going on with this and some other intricacies that you need to know. Written instructions would have been great, but whatever. Yeah, that's cool. Now I got a shifter that's way up farther. I don't know where my tape measure is at the moment, but yeah, it's not handy. But yeah, you can tell it's here now instead of it would have been, where would it have been normally? Let's just set this back. So the shifter would have been back here. Now we're up here. So it's at least a foot. It's probably more like 14 inches farther forward, which is going to be great. And I can always swing, if somehow this is too far forward, which I doubt, I can always swing it back. But I think that this is going to be perfect. Oh, yeah. And it's really short throw, even though it's so long. And I can shorten this if I, you saw. This is adjustable height, so I can lower this rod down into here, and this is going to be inside the boot. So whatever boot I end up coming up with. As far as bolting this into the car or lifting this up into the car, this transmission weighs a lot. I can pick it up by myself, barely in this position. So as far as getting under the car and just kind of huffing it under there, not so likely. But what I'm thinking is I've got that motorcycle jack, the one that's flat on top and slides under the motorcycle. Should be able to slide it right under this transmission and lift the tranny into place. As long as I don't run into the frames of the car. No, there's nothing in the way under there now because I cut out the floorboard, because the floorboards were done. So, yeah, use the motorcycle jack to lift this in place. Right now I have the car lifted as far as my jack will go, just so I can get the bell housing to clear the frame rails. So I'm going to pop it back under there, set the car back down, and I'll work on that this weekend, but it'll be in a different video. Anyways, I try to get these videos out, but like waiting on this to show up. So a lot of the reason why this took me so long to get this video out, I ordered the wrong part number first. I ordered one that relocated it like here, externally, which, you know, was way better than the original, but I wanted it all the way forward, and they were the same price. I just ordered the wrong one, so I had to mail it back. Luckily, the guy that makes these, the company, very easy to work with. So yeah, the guy was really easy to work with, and I just paid the extra shipping and sent it back, and ta-da! So cool. Yeah. I need you guys to do me a favor. I am not getting any comments on my videos. I need y'all to leave some comments. Say, hey, we watched your video. Or ask me a question. Tell me I'm doing something wrong. Just leave comments on my video, because without the interaction, YouTube doesn't think anybody cares. You know, show YouTube that they're wrong. Cool. Yeah, so subscribe if you're not already subscribed. If you stumbled across this video, subscribe. It doesn't cost you anything. Just click the subscribe button. It'll show you my new videos as they get published. And you know you want to see this car get done or whatever I do next, so do that. Thanks.